So for my Space Invaders game, these are the sprites that I used, or some of them I've used, some of them I have not had time to implement. First of all, I'll go into the player one, which is right here, which was used by I used Piscal to make this, which is a software that's online where you use to draw 2D shapes and images. I used it as well because it's helped my art style, which is toward more pixel, just cartoony, just kind of like how Space Invaders was, just cartoony game instead of making it more realistic. And then this is the enemy. I also animated this so that the actual flames on the exhaust or rocket will be moving, so it actually looks like it is actually moving, unlike the other ones. And then this is also what I use for the laser, for the gun. For I used it for the aliens and for the new players, although they are slightly different, so the coding doesn't mess up with each other. And yeah, that is the sprites for the most part. With then the scripts, I didn't really use scripts. I use scripts in the actual players themselves. For example, I have this one, which this will give you the health bar for the enemy boss. It uses this piece of code, and this piece of coding will tell you how much HP it has and what the max HP it can have is. And then you also have to make another one, which is a draw, so that it will actually draw the health bar, so you can see how much it has. And then the last bit of code in the if statement means if the HP is equal to or less than 0, then the instance will destroy itself, meaning you have killed it. I also have some other coding, which for controller level and controller. Controller has this piece of coding, which means if the instance of the enemy exists, do nothing. As soon as the enemy dies and there's nothing there anymore, go to the next room. I also use this one for this to make it so that my game will keep going on and it's endless. However, I made it so that the last room has this coding instead, meaning that when you kill the enemies, it will restart, go back to the first room, and then you'll carry on from there again. And then, yeah, that I think that for the code, and there's some for the controller as well, which is this is not for the game per se, is it's to make the actual screen full screen. So if you press shift, then it will make it full screen. If you press alt, it will make it come out of full screen mode. There was a few problems I had. One of the main problems I had was with the actual HP itself, because for some reason my game would get confused and have my health bar as being the enemy's health bar, meaning if you shot the enemy, you would kill yourself. I managed to overcome this though by making this code, and I also had to make it so that the health bar itself did not use code, it used the drag and drop instead, so that they were completely different health bars and nothing similar to them. Another problem that I had was time, as I did not have enough time to fully complete what I wanted to do with this game. I only managed to do part of what I wanted to accomplish. And the visual style I'm using is more of a cartoony look, as I was saying earlier on, and it's for to make it so that it's similar to Space Invaders, but not exactly like Space Invaders. So it's got the cartoony look like Space Invaders does, and it's not realistic. The game concept I was going for was an Easter egg and secret concept. What I mean by this is there are hidden things in the game which you can use. For example, one of the first things I thought of was a hidden room. So now let me just get enough points so I can show you this, and so I can get hit. What I did is there is a secret room below the score. So if you press down, you go to here, and you can explore this room. However, if you go over here to the right, you can go over to this. You teleports you back to the room you are at. You lose minus 50 points, and your health bar gets to full. I was also planning to add more to the secret room, so I would have another teleporter where you could teleport and back to the room, and you would get full shields. However, I didn't have enough time to do that, so the only one I have that works properly is the teleportation to give you your health back to full, which also will cost you 50 points.